I'm back. So listen, Maniac, it's just us today. How about that? It's just us today. Listen, have you watched our swimmers in the Olympics this week? It's ridiculous. It's out of hand right now. Katie Ledecky, if you watch her do, she crushed the 800 meter freestyle. She was like a full pool length in front of everyone else. I'm positive that she can swim faster than I can run. I would lose that race. And I assume that if you're a human being living on this planet that you've seen this. Yeah, pretty intense, right? So listen, even if you don't know what's happening here, first of all, you need to just like have internet. But if you don't know what's happening here, that's okay, because regardless, this photo it can now be used as a universal expression for your emotion in any number of situations. For example, this is the face that you have when you're stuck in traffic on 76. Right? This is the face that you have when you're texting someone and then autocorrect changes it to something crazy, but you already hit send. You're like, this is the face that you have when you're having just a good old time and you walk back to your car and this is on your windshield, which was on my windshield on Friday. The PPA strikes again. God loves, it's so painful for me to say. God loves people in the PPA. Anyway, so last week we kicked off this series, Squad Goals, and we tried to answer the question, why this squad at church? Like, why the church? Why this squad? If you miss it, especially if you're someone who's like, I don't know about church, make sure you listen to the podcast on our website. It's very much worth it. We believe that the local church is the hope of the world, and we believe that because it carries the message of Jesus, and we believe that church can save lives and change people's forevers, and we believe that together, as a squad, we can accomplish our vision, which is to see every person in the city make Jesus the forgiver of their sins and the leader of their lives. And because of that, our goal is to get as many people on board with this squad as possible. And so today we're gonna get into some practical and pragmatic stuff. We're gonna talk about how we can be part of that squad. But let's lay some groundwork for this first. So last week we kicked off by talking about Jesus's squad of disciples and how Jesus is trying to prepare them for what's coming. So he's gonna be arrested and he's gonna be crucified. And so it's important for the disciples before this happens to understand exactly who Jesus is and what this means for them. And we saw last week as Peter recognized that Jesus was the Son of God, and Jesus told him, "Blessed are you, and on this rock, I'm gonna build my church." And good for Peter, he's figured it out, but the disciples aren't 100% there yet, all right, as we're gonna see. So we're gonna take a look at a moment that takes place after that, what many of us know as the Last Supper. You may remember it looked like this, right? A lot of white guys. It's weird. Okay. There they all are, Jesus and his 12 disciples. So this will be their last meal together. This is their last night together, okay, before Jesus is arrested. They take communion together. This is the first communion. Jesus says, "Take this bread. It represents my body, which is given for you." And they eat the bread together. Jesus says, "This cup represents my blood, which is poured out for you." And they drink the wine together. And it's like, what a special moment together here. What a transcendent moment. And then, in Luke 22:24, a dispute also arose among them as to which one of them was considered to be the greatest. So if you're a parent, you know how this feels. If you're a teacher, you know how this feels. Like you're with the kids and you just have this like moment of like peace and tranquility. And just as you're like taking a deep breath and you're feeling like very proud of yourself, the kids like start pulling each other's hair, they start bickering with each other, throwing things across the room, right? And all of that peace just vanishes in a moment, like in an instant, like that. I imagine this is how Jesus felt, right? He just took communion and the guys are like, "No, I'm the greatest. No, I'm the greatest," right? They're saying dumb things like, "I'm the greatest because I did that one thing that one time," or "I'm the greatest because I know stuff. I'm the greatest because I got this many Pokemon at Pokemon Go." I still don't understand that game. Someone explain. Meet me afterwards, you can explain it to me, okay? The Bible doesn't say that Jesus rolled his eyes, but he might have. And so he interrupts them at this point, okay? It says, Jesus told him, "In this world, The kings and great men lord it over their people. They are called friends of the people, quote unquote. But among you, it will be different. Those who are the greatest among you should take the lowest rank, and the leader should be like a servant. Who is more important, the one who sits at the table or the one who serves? The one who sits at the table, of course, but not here. For I am among you as one who serves. I am among you as one who serves. So Jesus paints two pictures of what it means to lead and to be great. And those two pictures are miles apart. Miles apart. So the first one is the world's picture of what it means to be great. It's very similar to the definition of greatness in our culture today. It looks like power. It looks like wealth. It looks like status. It looks like a long, impressive resume. But Jesus says, it will be different here. It is not like that. You are not to be like that. And he paints another completely different picture of greatness. He says, the one who is greatest should take the lowest rank. He says the one who rules should be like the one who serves, not the one who sits on a throne and gets all the glory, but one who serves. So the idea of greatness that Jesus paints is so different from our definition. It's so different than what the disciples thought. And this is big because to this point, the disciples, they understand who Jesus is. The Son of God, the Messiah, the one who has come to save the world. But so they get the who, okay? But they don't understand the how. They understand that he is great, but they don't understand how he's gonna show that greatness. So they're still thinking about greatness in the world's terms. They're literally gearing up for a revolution. They're thinking that Jesus is gonna rise to power to topple the Romans who have been ruling over Israel. And they're looking for like a William Wallace, Braveheart style uprising. That's what they want, okay? They want the blue paint, they want everything, okay? But that's not how Jesus is gonna demonstrate his power and greatness. Jesus says, you got the who right. I am who you think I am, but you don't have the how yet. I'm here as one who serves. So if you wanna be great, you must serve. Jesus spells it out in very plain terms for the disciples here, but more importantly, he has shown it over and over and over and over again up to this point. As the Son of God, he could have come to earth in a million different ways, but he chose to be born as a human. He was born not in a palace, but a stable, in a barn, basically. He didn't grow up with royal treatment like a prince. He worked as a carpenter. In his ministry, he spent his time with the people that no one else would go near. He washed the feet of his disciples, which to us, honestly sounds gross enough, but in that culture, washing feet is like the lowest thing you could do. You know, people walked along dirt roads all day in the hot sun. You just imagine how nasty someone's feet would be. Like imagine someone's feet this week. Excuse me, I'm gonna go throw up. Jesus demonstrated over and over what it looked like to serve. Maybe he says, if you want to be great, you must serve. The disciples had a hard time understanding that. We have a hard time understanding that sometimes. Our culture isn't that much different when it comes to how we define greatness. It's really easy for us to confuse greatness with power, with ambition, with fame, with wealth, with followers and likes and stuff like that. And the bad news is that our culture has greatness all mixed up and turned around. Now, the good news is that we have the opportunity to redefine greatness right here in this church. Like we have the opportunity to redefine greatness right here in this church. So that's why today we're gonna talk about how to be a part of this squad, how to serve in this squad. And I know what some of you are thinking, because you're thinking, okay, here we go. Here's the pitch. You want us to sign up for stuff. Yes. Yes, I do. Now, here's the thing. I really want you to think about this. Consider this. Think about the alternative, okay? What if we as leadership said, you know what? We don't want your help. You know, we don't want your help and we don't need your help. So the 10 or the 20 of us who are really, really invested in this thing, we're gonna take care of everything. You guys just show up, enjoy the show, and go home. First of all, we would die because that's impossible, all right? Second, and more importantly, please hear this, the leadership of this church would be cheating you out of something that you need if we didn't invite you to jump in and serve. like we would be cheating you. Like if we asked you to only be consumers here instead of contributors, we would be wrong. Like we have to stand accountable someday, right? As leaders, we have to stand accountable. And so if we led you on to believe that serving is just something that you do, if you're someone who really, 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 really wants to do it, and the 99% of us, the rest of us, we just watch, it would be wrong. We'd be cheating you. So when in reality, here's the reality. One of the best things that we can do, one of the healthiest things that we can do, one of the things that leads us to a life that's full and rich and most like Jesus is to serve in God's church. And I know this. There is great work that you are doing at home. And I'm a firm believer that that's the most important work that you will ever do is in your home first. I know that there's great work that you're doing in your workplace. Some of you need convincing for that. You're like, dude, no, it's not good. It's not good. But since we believe that the local church is the hope of the world, because it carries the message of Jesus, we don't want you to miss out on the opportunity to be a part of that. And we would be cheating you out of it if we did anything else. So here's the thing. We're going to take a look at where and how you can serve in this church. And I said it's going to be super practical. So here's the thing. You got a handout today. I want everybody to take this handout out, and I want you to look at it. I know it's kind of dark in here. If you need to even use your phone to light it up a little bit, that's fine. But on the front side of this, you see a bunch of colors and pictures. That's like my jam right there. Oh, pictures, colors. Yes. That's a list of the different areas you can serve. So these are kind of like the departments. This is Epic Kids, Epic Youth, Guest Services, Worship, Production, Environments, and Central. And then if you flip it over and you look on the back, you should see a red, white, and blue graph. USA, 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 right? Now, some of you are excited about this because graphs and numbers are that's your thing, right? That's your sweet spot. Others of you are freaking out because spreadsheets are your sworn enemy. I gotta be honest with you, I still don't really know how Excel works. I'm pretty sure it's magic. Someone's gonna need to coach me up on that later too. Anyway, I'm gonna walk us through this and it's gonna make sense, I promise, okay? So what you're looking at is a chart that shows the current volunteers here at Epic. In the dark blue, it shows how many volunteers that we currently have, and then the red and the number that corresponds shows the number of people that we need to hit our goals in order to have the strongest, healthiest teams to be able to create the greatest church services that we can week in and week out. So blue is what we have. Red is what we need, all right? So we're gonna walk through just like each one of these, right? So you take a look at Epic Kids, right? There's check-in, that's welcoming families, making sure that kids get to the right classes and are safe and well taken care of. That job, it's more important than you think. If we didn't have that, chaos, okay? Then we have buddies. Those are people that work with special needs kids who need one-on-one attention. Also super important. Then we have nursery, preschool, and elementary, each one for the different age groups. Here's what you need to know about Epic Kids. Not just babysitting, okay? Not just babysitting. Our leaders are creating interactive, fun, high energy environments that help kids to learn Jesus on their level. So if you're a little worried, maybe you're thinking, I'm not sure if I know enough to teach a 4-year-old. Here's really good news is you only need to know as much as a 5-year-old to teach a 4-year-old. So you're in good shape. You're in great shape, okay? Now take a look at Epic Youth. That's our middle school and high school. So listen, I teach middle school. Those kids are super weird. Sorry if you're here and you're in middle school, but you should not be here anyway. You should be in the class. Some of you are like, I don't do what I'm told. But listen, it is so great when you get to know them. It is so great. It is so great. I can't even describe to you the feeling. And these teenage years are so important. So please help us invest in these kids. Please help us invest in these kids. Next is guest services. Greeters are the people who welcome you with a smile as you walk into church. They make sure guests know where to go, and they help create a fun environment on our sidewalks and our lobbies, make it feel good. There's our hospitality team. They're the ones who make sure you get a hot cup of coffee. For some of you, they're like, this is the most important person in this whole place to you. Like, please, I need. They give, there's juice, there's water, all that stuff. And here's a little secret that maybe you don't know. Our hospitality team also takes care of our volunteer central area. And so we have food and everything like that for our volunteers who serve every week. It's a little sweet little perk. And then there's the ushers. They help you find a seat. They make sure that we have a distraction-free service. They handle stuff like receiving the connection cards, the offering. They help everything to flow right. Again, without them, chaos. Next is our worship team. So you see them up here every single Sunday, every week, and they do such an awesome job of leading us in worship through music. So if you can sing pretty well or play an instrument well, you can audition to be a part of that team. And then there's our production team. They take care of the sound, they take care of the lights, they take care of the... Somebody's got jokes. Okay. You're all fired. No, you're not. We need you. Just kidding. I don't have that power anyway. So listen, if you didn't know, we are one church with multiple locations. We have 4 locations so far. Usually that message is streamed via video from one of our locations. So we have cameras, there's directors, there are all sorts of moving parts. And the cool thing is that they can train you on a lot of those things. So even if you're not like an expert on camera work or something like that, you can pick up a new skill. They'll teach you. The production team wants you to know, they're like, hey, come on, join us. So that's my shout out to the production team, even though they just mess with me. So then we have our environments team. These teams don't really get any press, but they're some of the most important. Setup comes in the morning. They turn this place from a movie theater into a church. It's harder than you think. After the 10 o'clock service here, the teardown team packs it all up so we can do it again next week. So I know some people just want a place to jump in and use their hands, get stuff done. The environment teams are a great place to do that. And then at the bottom, you'll see central. So we have office volunteers who serve throughout the weeks. For some people, like Sunday morning doesn't work, so maybe like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday works for you. There's a team of volunteers that come and serve in the office on Sunday afternoon even, inputting data from all our services so that our pastors and staff can follow up with people and care for people during the week. And so we're super thankful for that team too. Then we have creative, and I know we have a ton of creative people here, photographers, videographers, video editors, graphic designers, social media gurus. I would love to see us use our creativity to further the mission of the church. Listen, if you're a photographer, I want you for social media, so call me, email me, do whatever, sign up. And last but not least, there's events. This is the team that throws epic parties, so they organize and host many of the events that we do. So you can see there's a ton of different places, ton of different areas you can jump in. And here are the totals in case you're wondering. Some of you math nerds have already added up in your head, like, well, I've done the calculations. And so here's the thing. We have currently 162 people serving on a team. So that's awesome. Can we give it up for our volunteers who are already doing that? Yeah. So we love you guys, like I said earlier, so appreciate we couldn't do this without you. Here's the thing. Then here's what we need still. There's 88. All right, so we still need 88. We have 162 people. We need 88 more. And here's the deal. That's not even counting essential teams, by the way. They have a mix of people from all locations, and they have their own goals as well. So there's a great need. 88's not even I would argue that's like bare minimum, okay? Because I wouldn't complain. I know, Jay, you wouldn't complain if you had 100, right? And I'll say this, so that total is like 250. I think I did the math right. Math people help me out. But it's a 250. There are way more people than 250 who are here every single Sunday. Just this location. I'm talking like almost double that, okay? Just throwing that out there so you're aware. Here's the thing, that goal, 88, is so doable. It's so doable, it's stupid. It's silly, okay? So doable. The reality is there are a lot of people here who call Epic Church home, but you're not part of one of these teams yet. There are a ton of reasons for that. So I actually want to address some of these first. So I get that. These are not lost on me. I want to spend some time addressing maybe some of the barriers you might actually have for serving. So here's the thing. The first one is this, the 80-20 rule. And what this means is that in the church, for church particularly, that 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. And where only a few people are doing most of the work. And so maybe you've been in a position where this has happened to you and you're thinking, no way am I doing that again. And I get that, and I have been there. So let me address that real quick. here's the thing. A lot of us come to church and we so often assume that it's someone else's job. It's someone else's responsibility to make it happen. And we think, hey, they don't need my help. They look like they got it covered. Like they're doing good. It looks like they got it covered. Looks like they're doing just fine without me. But if everyone pitched in, do you realize how much better we can make all of this, everything? It's not the job of a select few to serve. It's all of us. And if we all take on that responsibility, the 80-20 rule is kind of irrelevant. So that's the 80-20 rule. Now, other barriers to serving. Some people, you might say sleep. So you might say like, hey, I really like my sleep. I have to wake up, or I might have to wake up earlier on Sundays, whatever. Paul, you don't understand. It's basically a miracle that I ever make it to church at all. So maybe that's a barrier for you, like the sleep thing. Okay, so maybe you might say commitment. So especially in this day and age, commitment is rough. So and you guys know, if you invite friends to a barbecue, or you make a cute little invitation, like on Evite or on Facebook, and what happens? Like 90% of everyone replies like maybe, right? Or they don't reply at all because even maybe is too much of a commitment. I don't know about that. Whoa. So maybe the idea of serving is scary because, what if someone invites you to the shore next weekend? That's a real thing. I want to get invited to the shore, so if you're going, hit me up. Okay. 2 weeks I won't be on, so we're good. Similar to commitment, maybe time is a barrier to you, and it's tough for you to think of serving because of the time your job demands, or you're in grad school right now, or you're a parent, and you grossly underestimate the amount of time your kids would take up by like 1,000%. That might be a real barrier for you. Maybe your barrier is expertise. Maybe you're thinking, I haven't been a Christian for very long, or I'm not even a Christian. I don't know anything about church. I'd fail any Bible quiz you gave me. Okay, first of all, we're not going to give you a Bible quiz, okay? I don't think that's going to ever happen. But for whatever reason, you might not think you're qualified. Like I said, maybe you don't know, you don't think you can teach kids or whatever, but that's expertise is a barrier for you. Maybe your barrier, and this is probably one that overlaps for a ton of people, is your comfort zone. So serving at church is not normally what I do. I might be asked to do things that are a bit of a stretch for me. I don't know anybody here yet. The list can go on and on and on and on and on. So maybe that's you. And so here's the thing. I could list barriers all day. We could be here until tonight. I'm sure there are more, but let's take a look at this list that we have here real quick. And here's the thing. These are real challenges. So I want to acknowledge that. But here's how we want to approach this. A squad that's worth being a part of, a story that is worth telling, is going to have challenges and is going to come with a cost. And think about any of the Olympic teams or athletes. It's not like, oh, hey, you're gonna have a shot at representing your country and to be the best in the world, and it's gonna be super easy. You're gonna have to sacrifice some, there's gonna be a cost there. So here's what I really want you to get about barriers, okay? The story is never great if we let our barriers tell it. Think about it. The story is never great if you just let your barriers tell it. If you're just gonna let your barriers always stand in your way, the story is never gonna be great. So here's the thing about sleep. Like, do you have like an awesome sleeping in story? Dude, I slept till 1. It was epic. I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. Wish someone was taking pictures. Do you have an awesome story of staying in your comfort zone, which is on your couch, rewatching The Office for the 15th time in a row? Is there any great marriage or relationship that doesn't require commitment? Is there any great marriage that doesn't require great commitment? Show me that. The best stories ask us to overcome our barriers. And better yet, when we do overcome our barriers, here's the thing, there are benefits too. When there's a cost, there's a reward. So I'm gonna go into those, all right? So first of all, serving gets you to church. And some of you, and this is a very real benefit because some of you, serving might be the only way to guarantee that you actually get to church. You don't have a problem if you have to be at work at 8 a.m., right? But if there's like some optional thing, like you have to wake up to work out, chances have dropped significantly. that you're gonna make that. That's a big deal because we believe that really good things happen here. So if it ups your chance, serving ups your chances of being here, that's great. Second of all, another benefit, it connects you to church. Serving connects you to church. And what I mean by that is this, it's easy to walk around here and maybe not like the way we do this or the way we do that. Maybe you question why we seat people the way we do or have people come in some certain door or not another door or like whatever. It's kind of like how people without kids look at parents and think like, why are they doing that? Why do they let their kids do that? And every parent is like, I was once young and dumb like you. I was at a pool with my friends yesterday, and they had a 4-year-old, and he just got out of the water and just started peeing right on the side of the pool. And they both look at me like, I love being a parent. And I was like, I understand now. Okay. Anyway, so listen. When you're serving, okay, it's not just that you're at the door smiling like our greeters. It's not just like you're at the door smiling like a goofball, okay? You're one of the first people that someone who's brand new here will meet, and you have the first opportunity to make them feel like they're at home, not just some building that talks about religious stuff, okay? And this is the kind of thing when you serve here, you start to connect to the heart and the vision of this church, and you start to see that there's actually a bigger purpose in why we do the things that we do. Like, believe it or not, there's actually like rationale to a lot of the things that we do. There's a reason, there's heart behind it. The other benefit, serving connects you to people. So if you're just walking in here on a Sunday, it's possible that no one knows your name. If you're serving, people will know your name. They're gonna know you, they're gonna know what's going on with you. You're getting connected to the location pastor, your team leader, you're getting connected to other people on that team. You're working side by side with each other. I've seen this over and over and over again, people becoming close friends, becoming like family through their serve teams. I was on the worship team for almost 8 years. Some of those people have turned into some of my best friends. So that happens, okay? Some people have even met their spouses this way. I'm just kidding. We can't promise that, okay? We can't promise that. But it happens. Maybe it won't. But it could. I'm done. Listen, you need people, all right? You need to be connected to people. You need community, and we're gonna talk more about that next week. But serving is one of the ways that can make that happen. Another benefit, serving connects you to God. And we have seen this over and over and over and over and over again. People who have rediscovered their relationship with God, who have gone deeper and deeper and deeper into their relationship with God as a result of serving and as a result of connecting with the church and with the people here. Another benefit is that it helps you grow. It's funny how serving helps other people for sure, but that very act of shifting the focus from what can you do for me to what can I do for others can grow our faith. That simple act of not being a consumer anymore, but a contributor, how it can grow our faith. Serving helps you to grow in your relationship with God. There are so many people who have become better husbands and wives, parents, friends through serving. And by the way, the family who serves together stays together, okay? Parents, there might not be anything more important than this. Your kids not only seeing you take part, and not only hearing you talk about church and God, right? But seeing you take part in something meaningful, and then also you inviting them into something meaningful. That's huge. Serving helps you to grow as a leader. And there are several people here who serve here who have never thought of themselves as a leader until they started to serve here. And they learned what it looked like. And then they learned that they could do it. And then they started doing it. And then there are people who tell us all the time about how they even take what they learned here and they apply it at work. And here, the benefits can go on and on and on. And I could be here all day talking about those too. But my favorite part about serving is knowing someone here and seeing how it changes their lives and how people's lives are changed through these people who are serving here. And here's the thing, it starts with our staff at Epic, okay? So a ton of the folks on our staff right now are people who started out by just serving and being a part. Jake, our location pastor in Roxborough, he was at our first service and he started setting up outdoor signs at our second service. I mean, that's Jake's story. That's how he started out here. Will, who is our location pastor in Center City, he started out as a college student playing drums for us. And here's actually a funny story. I've known Will since he was 16 years old. And I was 18, right? He was 16 and I was 18, and I was actually serving as a youth leader. So when you talk about I only need to be 18 to be able to help out a 16-year-old. Okay, that's true. I've known him since then, and then whenever we were starting Epic the first year, I called Will up. I knew that he was a college student, and I was like, hey, come play drums for us. And he came and played drums for us, and now look where he is. Marissa, Will's wife, Richard, Monica, Shannon, all of those people started out by jumping in and serving. And some of you guys know some of those people on staff. And then here's the thing, for all of those people, something happened along the way. They might have initially thought, like, I'm just setting up. I'm just playing some songs. I'm just helping some kids. But after some time, they realized, like, oh, wow. Like, there's something big happening here. Like, there's something meaningful happening here. This is important work. And I love their stories. And there are people at this very location, in this very building, that's like their same story. So one of my favorites is here right now. Her name's Kathy. She's back there on production. We give it up for Kathy. So Kathy came here like 7 years ago, something like that, right? And she was just willing to jump in wherever. She started off greeting, and then I remember being a part, I don't know if you remember this too, Kathy, being part of your acoustic guitar audition for a worship team. And she became part of the worship team. And then here's the thing, after a while, we needed people on the production team. And then she was so willing to jump in and help out with that. And then here's what I love about Kathy. She wasn't content to just sit and watch. She wasn't content to just sit and watch. She wanted to contribute. And in her own words, like 10 years ago, she never would have thought about like leadership or production or anything like that. But now she makes all of this happen. Right? She makes all of this happen. Like everything that you see, and like she makes that happen. She does an incredible job, and she's a leader too. She told me that she's shy and she's introverted and all this stuff, but she's developed like awesome leadership skills that go beyond even church. And she stepped out of her comfort zone, like who knows how many times, and has overcome like who knows how many barriers. And because I'm like, dude, I'm so proud of you, Kathy, for that. Like so proud. And here's the other thing too. Since she started coming here, she's brought her whole family along, the whole Durkin crew. And so many of you know so many Durkins. There's so many of them, they're everywhere. And here's the thing, if you look around this church, like you can see their fingerprints everywhere. You can see it like literally on our gear and on our stuff, but you can see their fingerprints on so many lives at our churches. And it's grown just from Manayunk to everywhere. Like your fingerprints are on so many lives. It's ridiculous. You have no idea how many lives have been changed here because of that. So thank you. And guys, there's Jay. So most of you know Jay. Say hi, Jay. Yes. So listen, he takes care of this place, man. Jay's awesome. He started serving on the setup team, and here's the thing about Jay. Then he was serving on the setup team, and then we have these connection cards that we do every service. And one day Jay just asked if he could pray for the people on those connection cards. It's this thing. He saw that there was a need. He had something on his heart. If you know Jay, you know his heart for people, and he just saw that need, and he stepped in. And he asked it, and now his fingerprint, same thing. His fingerprint is on so many things here, so many people here. So many of you know Jay, and you know like God's love because Jay has like literally shown up for you and has cared for you. So thank you, Jay, as well. You're the man. And again, I wish I had like 7 hours because I would just go through there's so many people here, like Chris Gibney back there, Eric and Heidi, Travis and Sarah, I think you're here too. There's so, Mark and Kim. There's so many people here that you've jumped in, you've served, you've done so much. And these are the kind of stories that I love hearing about. These are the kind of stories that are being shaped here all of the time. These are the kind of stories that to me are worth investing in, because this is a squad that's worth investing in. We save lives here, and lives are changed, and people's forevers are changed here. That happens. And we believe that greatness doesn't come through power or position or fame or fortune. We believe it comes through serving. And we believe that every single person here can do that. Now, I love, there's something that Martin Luther King Jr. said in a sermon, and here it is. He says, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve, although that would be cool. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. So good. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to have all your stuff together. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And if everybody served, this whole church, if this whole squad, every single person who's sitting in a seat right now served, our vision of every person in the city suddenly becomes doable. And that is a story that's worth investing in. That's something worth giving our time and energy and passion and money to. That's worth overcoming any barriers that you might have. So let's be great together. Let's be great together. Let's pray. God, I thank you so much for what you are doing in this church. I thank you so much for the people in this church. I thank you so much for the hearts, the stories that are in this church. God, the things that you have done here is incredible. And God, I pray as we have this opportunity in front of us to be great, to join you in your definition of greatness. God, I pray that you would move us. I pray that you would help us, give us the courage to overcome our barriers and serve and be part of this story for your name, for your glory. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.